Alright, YouTube, let's go do a FSD and Chat. We're going to take a ride over to the grocery store on the backside of town. Should present a couple of interesting obstacles to navigate. It's a little bit later than I normally do videos, so there will almost certainly be more traffic today. And I'm just going to navigate this. Actually, there's no reason to do it. Let the car do it. This is a 2-lane road, but it treats it like 1 lane. So I sometimes navigate myself through here. Alright, let's just turn all this off. We don't need any of that. Alright. So if this is your first time ever watching an FSD video, basically anytime you see this blue line on the screen, the car's got full control. This is beta software, so I am required to touch the steering wheel every once in a while. We call it the nag. Every once in a while the screen will flash blue or something will pop up telling me to put a little pressure. I actually have to pull it pretty hard to knock it out of FSD. Maybe we won't have to on this trip, we'll see. So this is a tough corner. I know you guys can't see out the side, but it's really blind. Even when you're driving yourself, it's a very blind corner, so it has to creep up to see. Did a pretty good job there. I'm actually getting more comfortable with it. It's hard to trust it in these blind corners, but it's hard to trust humans when they do it too. So this intersection up here can oftentimes be a real pain. There can be quite a bit of traffic coming through. Kind of my one rule of thumb with FSD: if I start annoying the humans around me, I take it out of FSD and do the responsible thing and drive my car. I'm not interested in making everybody hate Teslas. But right now we're going to let it do its thing. Got a pedestrian over here. This guy coming across. He's coming across, so you can see him walking across. Alright, I'm going to give it a little accelerator. There's a car over there waiting for me to go, so I just went ahead and encouraged the Tesla to take over. So I like with the accelerator now. That's actually one kind of nice feature of FSD. When it's a little slow like that, you can kind of nudge it through the intersections with the accelerator yourself. Something else you just saw me do was reach up to the steering wheel. This little button here will let me just increase the speed that it's willing to drive. This is probably a little bit hot, actually. This is a 25-mile-per-hour road. It's actually going to change to 35 here. Alright. I'm sure that a lot of you that are watching this video are probably thinking about buying a Tesla. I'm sure of that because I watched countless self-driving videos before I bought a Tesla. I'm also a Tesla investor, so I am deeply interested in the self-driving part of the cars. I think that's the really big value unlock for Tesla coming up in the future. So what can I tell you about it? Well, I love the car. It's actually my wife's car. I still drive a Jeep, but I have serious car envy at this point. I like driving the car around, testing out FSD. It's absolutely worth it, in my opinion. It's, on highway driving is where it truly shines. We did a round trip back and forth to Albany, 150 miles each way. I only had to take over really one time, and it was during some heavy merging traffic, and the car just paused a little bit more than I had preferred it to. So I took over and kind of nudged it along. Otherwise, it handled it flawlessly. And just having 8 cameras around you at all times, and I know plenty of vehicles other than Teslas, have 8 cameras or whatever around them and are safer on the freeway driving and stuff. But with FSD is kind of an extra layer of safety. You just feel safer driving. So right now it's kind of a little bit far back from where it should have stopped, so I'm just going to give it a little accelerator and kind of make it creep up a little bit. Most of the interactions, or most of the times that I end up taking over when I'm in FSD, In fact, I would say 90% of the times, maybe 95% of the times, it's when there's other traffic around, other cars around, and I'm just trying to not annoy the humans. And that's really it. So this intersection is usually pretty easy to navigate, especially when we have what I like to call the pole position here. We're just going to continue straight across the street up here, and then we'll take a left. And we'll see which way it navigates. The navigation system oftentimes chooses different routes to navigate. But we will see what it does. I suspect it's going to go probably a little short route through the neighborhood. Actually, pretty nice Jeep right there too. I think we're doing a pretty good job here. Maybe cut that corner a little tight, but that's very human-like. That's exactly what most humans would. I think that's what the guy in front of us did. So the little blue thing there, that's the nag. It's telling me to give it some pressure on the steering wheel. And you'll see, like most of the time, I just rest my hand on the steering wheel. It is beta software. It is really amazing, but at the end of the day, this is your life. This is your car. If you wreck it, you are in trouble. You agree to all of these terms, basically, when you agree to use the beta software. You know, a lot of people online bitch and moan about how it's not perfect. It's not perfect, guys. It's beta software. You are agreeing to be a beta tester. Personally, I think this is amazing. I think it's really super cool. I'm happy that I'm allowed to be a beta tester, to drive this software, to have this in my car. All right, we're coming through here. Yeah, we're taking the back way. So, all right. So, you know, I wish people would cut up some slack, but it's just the world we live in, man. People will literally bitch about anything. We have amazing technology. You can see how it's progressing with the over-the-air software updates and stuff. And yet for some people, it's complete trash unless it can, you know, drive in Mumbai, India at rush hour or something. I can't relate to people like that. I guess they're just kind of black-pilled. I prefer a more nuanced approach to my life. I think that it's very clear that they're going to unlock the software, that FSD is going to be solved, and that there will be robo-taxis in the future. No, the software is not ready for robo-taxi yet. It's not. I mean, it's doing pretty good though, guys. The only time I really intervened so far was to give it a little bit of gas at the first major intersection a ways back. We're kind of creeping a little slow through this neighborhood, but that is what the speed limit is. There's no heavy traffic out today, so I'm just going to kind of let it do its thing. I'm going to give it a little nudge there. So that was a little awkward. It sometimes does that. Probably my biggest complaint with FSD right now is the way that it handles intersections at times. It sometimes gets bold and will pull out there. This car behind me is going to get pretty annoyed, but they will chill. Again, I'm just nudging it with the accelerator right now. So these are definitely interventions. You know, it's like I said, most of the time when I intervene is because I don't want to annoy the other humans around me. And right now there's a car right behind us. He's actually a good bit closer than this camera makes him look. And so that's why I'm still letting the car do all the navigating, steering and all of that. I just like to give it a little accelerator, you know, but basically showing the drivers around me some courtesy, not being the D-bag that's gonna make my AI drive me everywhere, even if it annoys people when they honk. So this is an interesting intersection here too. Should be pretty straightforward. It's just gonna have to creep up there, so I'm gonna help it creep a little bit because there's a car behind me. All right, I think you got it. Again, giving it some gas. It is too cautious at intersections. Like I was saying a minute ago, one of my biggest complaints is the way that it will pull into an intersection and then hesitate. That's terrifying when you have an AI driving you. It doesn't always do it. Many times it does the intersections really, really good. But when you pull out into an intersection and then you kind of pause, you know, when there's no traffic, who cares? Whatever, it's not a big deal. But there's usually traffic around, and human drivers do not pull into an intersection and pause. And so my big concern is that you're going to pull into an intersection and pause, and the guy behind you is going to be trying to make the intersection with you, get through the light or whatever, he's going to run into you when you pause. I guess it's somewhat related to what we've called the phantom braking issue, which I don't really experience very often. In fact, I haven't experienced any like slam on the brakes or anything like that. In fact, I suspect some of the reports that people say that Tesla just slams on the brakes are just fake. You know, people looking for attention. But I don't know. I mean, You know, I allow for the possibility. It certainly hasn't happened to me. All right, so we're coming up here. We should be navigating into the parking lot. I'm gonna let it go as far in as it will go. I will certainly have to take over in the parking lot at some point. No question about it. So far, so good, though. I don't actually need anything from the grocery store. It was just a destination to put into the navigator to make this video. Gonna let it keep cruising along, see how it does. All right, let's take over. And we will just slide this out the way. End that trip. And we will do home. Not gonna let me do it in the parking lot. That's all right. I will get us back out to the road and re-engage it, and we will navigate the back way home. The navigator wants us to go back the way we came, but I am going to try to force its hand by taking a right up here instead of a left. Get out of this car. I like to put out all the FSD videos. The truth is, when I'm not in FSD mode, this is hands down the funnest car I have ever driven. It is so incredibly punchy off the line, like getting in and out of traffic and stuff. It's just amazeballs. I mean, I love this car. It's I guess some people own supercars or whatever, and they probably laugh at me talking about the driving experience of the Tesla, but just an average guy. This is a way above average car for me, and I couldn't be happier with it. It's just an amazing piece of technology. It's tight, like you would expect out of a brand new Honda car. It's just so incredibly fast off the line. The acceleration is, you know, when you punch it, it kind of bends you to the back of the seat. But anyway, you guys are here for the FSD video and not the regular performance specs of the car. Looks like it's going to take us an interesting way. I don't know if I've ever taken this route home, so we'll have to see what it does here. Give it just a blinker here. It's kind of confused with the road construction, so I am giving it accelerator, but it is actually figuring it out, guys. Yeah. You know, it's a little confusing, even for humans, when you're coming through there the first time. You know, you get road construction stuff, and still have the blinker on here, so let me turn that off. Never been in this part of town, actually. It's kind of nice back here. So if any of you guys are on the fence thinking about buying an electric vehicle, and you know, you're looking at all the options and comparing it and like trying to think through if you're going to do it or not, all I'm going to say is I think it's very worth it. You know, starting next year, there's the EV tax credit that you have right now is not a tax credit anymore. It comes right off the purchase price. I believe it's $7,500. It may be half that for the Model 3. Definitely double check all that, but you know, with these tax credits, these cars are cheaper than the average new car that Americans buy. You know? So the average new car purchase price is about $48,000 in the United States. These Teslas this is the dual motor long range. I believe it was 51 base price. You subtract the 7,500 off of it, and you're well below the average purchase price of a new vehicle in the States right now. You know, we have a charger at home. That's where we do most of our charging. When we're out on long trips, we might use a supercharger. Just going to nudge it up here so we can look around the corner. It's going for it. Good stuff. Good stuff. It did that by itself. I had my foot touching the accelerator, but it actually did all of it. So yeah, I think it's very much worth it. You know, how much do we really save on gas? It's kind of hard to know. The Tesla app kind of gives you an idea based on the electric rate you have. My best guesstimate is probably about 2/3, maybe 3/4. It's real. You're definitely getting savings. It's not like you're driving around for free. You still do have to pay to put energy in the car to drive it. But if I'm honest, even if it was the exact same cost as gas, it's still worth it. The car's always charged. Like, for 98% of our use cases, we don't need 330 miles of range. Literally 98%. The only time we mostly need that is if we're going, you know, my in-laws' house in New York State. It's like 150 miles there, so we'll drive there. Once we're there, we'll, you know, usually top it up. About 5 minutes on a supercharger gives us about 80 to 100 miles of range, which is more than enough to easily make it back home. But most of the time, my wife drives it to work and back. She comes home, plugs it in, wakes up the next day, car's ready to go. The convenience of not having to go to a gas station for the majority of the time that you're driving is worth it to me. Even if it costs the same to actually fuel it, having that convenience is nice. You know, and the other part is like a little bit of peace of mind, guys. Like, right, like this, at least half of the vehicles in our family no longer depend on the Middle East and whatever crazy political crap is going on over there, or any of that stuff. And like, I'm not naive. We still use oil in all kinds of places and oil products, but you know, having cars that aren't fueled by gasoline and oil, I mean, it moves the needle. Like, it's, you know, next time, you know, gas spikes up to $4.50 a gallon or something around here, well, I bet we save a lot more then when that happens. You know, because electricity probably won't spike. Plus, we have the option to eventually install solar on the house, which will drive the cost of fueling it down lower. I'm babysitting it pretty closely right now because this road's really narrow, and sometimes people drive pretty fast on it. Yeah, it seems like it's doing pretty good, actually. Really narrow right here, but handles it pretty well. Good job. Very human-like there. It actually allowed itself to cross over the yellow line a little bit to give it some space. That telephone pole that was sticking out in the road. Did very well. You know, I'm definitely an EV fanboy, Tesla specifically. Obviously, I'm an investor, but you know, I'm not naive here. Like, there are still use cases for gas cars. We're definitely in this guy's lane. You got to get over car. There you go. Good job. It does right there. Like, if you look at this road, you don't see the white line or the yellow line in the middle, and so it treats it like a one-lane road until it sees a car, and then it like gets over in its lane. So there's little things like that. I expect all of these bugs to be worked out probably in the next version. When version 12 comes out, I think, you know, it's end-to-end neural networks. You know, based on some of the tweets Elon's made, we expect it to feel a lot more human. And I think that's honestly the most important piece to get right now with FSD, to make it react more human-like, simply so it doesn't confuse the other human drivers on the road. I don't believe this car will run into an object. It sometimes drives in a kind of fashion that makes you a little bit nervous, like you'll see the steering wheel double jerk or something. But I do not believe this car will hit an object. I'm obviously not going to, you know, risk wrecking the car to prove that statement out. This is a tough one here. This is a definitely blind corner. I can kind of see through there, so it's creeping up, trying to get a view, and it should take it. Here we go. It needs to get all the way over. You got to get over. Yeah, look at that. Did good job. It had to cross 2 lanes right away right there. That's good. Very solid. Very, very solid. The other drivers see the cameras in the car, so they... This is outside the Boston area, guys. People are very impatient in this area. How dare I be out for a Saturday cruise, not driving as fast as humanly possible. All right, here we go. And another one we did really good. Very human-like right there. The rest of the commute from here should be mostly trivial, getting the rest of the way home. Like I was saying, so I'm definitely an EV fan, but I'm not anti-gas vehicle or anything. It's in time we're going to switch over to fully electric vehicles for almost every use case. And all the naysayers, all the haters right now, they will eventually change their minds. I'm one of these people that doesn't believe the government needs to be involved in every detail of everything. The tax credit does help. We would have bought one, but regardless, my wife's old car was worn down. It was a Volkswagen Golf. It was a cool car, but it was 14 years old. So it was her turn for the new car this time around. I'm actually the Tesla fanboy. It's not even my wife, and so convincing her to buy a Tesla now, she gets to drive it every day, and I get to take it out on the weekends. It's I guess she would have thought that I would have been the first one to get a Tesla, but whatever. My next vehicle will definitely be a Tesla. I do have a Cybertruck reservation, but I don't expect that I will get a Cybertruck anytime soon because I was a good bit late on my pre-order. But yeah, I just couldn't be happier. And back to the FSD stuff. I would say that if Tesla were to go with robo-taxis now, they can absolutely do it in certain areas. And they probably know those areas from all the training data they have. I don't think right now today it could be a general purpose. In fact, it could not be a general purpose robo-taxi today. It definitely could not. There are some areas that it handles flawlessly. In other places, it gets a little confused, especially around road construction and stuff like that. But Tesla could easily geofence them to regions that they know they do well and start expanding that geofence region. I have no idea when they're actually going to start making real strides for that. My gut feeling is that they won't do that until the $25,000 car comes along. If they're going to go with a robo-taxi platform, they're probably going to move on a cheap car platform, like whatever the technology they're going to use to build the $25,000 car. That will probably be a similar manufacturing process, in my guess, to the robo-taxis they eventually build. And we have word from Elon that they are definitely working on it. He's already told his engineers, no steering wheel. And he says that he will own that decision if it ends up being a bad decision. So they are definitely betting on a robo-taxi future. And I am almost certain that they achieve it. This is, say what you want, guys, this car is driving itself. Yeah, I have to babysit it. I want to babysit it. This is, an AI robot. Like an actual real-world robot. This isn't somebody with remote control driving the car around. This car is perceiving the world around it, making real-time decisions, and navigating. This car is basically unlocked, entry-level artificial vision. And that's artificial vision, being able to perceive your world. That's got to be a large part of artificial intelligence, and being able to navigate it. So yeah, we're just about done with the cruise here. I don't have a heck of a lot more to say. I'm really, really impressed. I will definitely keep putting these videos out. You guys seem to enjoy watching them, and it gives me a reason to go out and drive around an FSD. Shoot a little video at the same time. Camera on that a little bit hot. All right, guys, and that's our weekly FSD and Chat video. Don't forget to, what do they say on YouTube? Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe, or whatever silly shit they always say. All right, guys, have a good one.